To adapt these cool old turn posts to a new pergola, I needed to notch the tops for support of a haunch that will hold other pieces of the pergola. So I thought I'd do a quick video to show some of the tricks I use to get a nice, clean, accurate notch on a post. Most of these steps are fairly routine for making notches, so I'll cover them quickly. Both faces needed to be notched and be centered up over the post. So I just found the center of the post and laid out these notches and then transfer them around the post with a framing square for an equal reference all the way around. Next, I set the depth of the saw to the depth of the notch. With the post secured in place, I'll make a series of cuts along this face of the post. And I'll start with a very accurate cut right along the bottom line, and then a couple shallow cuts right near the end that help later in the process. I want that cut to be nice and true and accurate. Before I make the cuts across the face, I'll cut a couple real thin shallow cuts right at the end to establish the depth of the notch. Once I've got those made, then I'll just make these random series of cuts in between. When I get to the place here where this knot is, I'll have to make the cuts extra close so that they're able to break off the knot. Out here where the wood is clean, I can space the cuts farther apart. It's important to hold the saw flat on the face and not enter the wood at an angle or depart the wood at an angle, which would make for an uneven line when the material is cleared away. You can see here that I made the cuts closer together so that that knot will break off easier. It's helpful to clean most of the sawdust out of these cuts. It makes for a cleaner breakaway. I'm able to do that with compressed air from the shop compressor, but if I was out on the site, I would just turn the post and knock that sawdust free. The steps I used so far are pretty typical, and normally at this point, I'm going to just take a hammer and start knocking these chips out. But the little trick I use is very helpful. I take a serious hammer and a solid block of wood with a sharp corner on it. By lining up this block on the lip I created with those first two saw cuts, I'm able to drive these chunks off of here. A firm, steady whack is the best. So that comes off pretty quick and clean. Little difficulty there because of the knot and the grain around it. But a couple of whacks there makes easy work of the process. And depending on the grain of the wood, if the grain is wavy or there's more knots in it, this surface will be harder to clean up. But because this wood is so old and so straight grained, I've got a simple job to true this up. Taking a very sharp chisel, keeping the long flat side down on the surface. Which quickly cleans it up. And that's pretty much it. Now I have a nice, flat, stable surface. A couple of screws will hold this haunch in, and having a ledge here will support an incredible amount of weight. As I flip the post over to do the second side, you can see how fast this process is if I'm not stopped to talk about each step along the way. Basically, I flip the post over, make the initial cuts on each end, and then make a series of cuts through the middle. This side of the post again has some knots in it, so I'm making extra cuts so that that part will break out a little more easily. The easier the pieces break out, the cleaner the finished product. Well, I hope you found that video helpful. It's a great way to get a nice, clean, accurate notch without a whole lot of time or effort. So if you're notching posts for a deck to go around a joist or for a set of stairs, this same process can be used if the notch needs to be at an angle for a set of stairs or something. So it's a very handy method to have in your bag of tricks. So if you like this video, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the Next Level Carpentry channel by clicking the link below. When you hit the subscribe button, check the little bell next to it, and whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified. I appreciate your comments and suggestions. They're what help me build the Next Level Carpentry channel into something that will help you take your skills to the next level. Thanks for watching.